And we return for the second half of the D tier in Challenge Series. As a brief reminder, I shouldn't have much to remind you of, but it's basically a battle for second at this point, and even that's starting to get kind of spread out as Isabella is actually a good 17 points ahead of third. But that's nothing compared to the double size, or doubled value, that is the difference between her and first place, Dedrick Schwartz, who I think his lowest finish in this championship is like 4th. And the starting grid gods just seem to love him this year, or this season, so it's just like, it's just kind of sad at this point more than anything else. It's just like, there comes a point where it almost seems like it doesn't even matter where he starts, because he keeps going up the field anyway. And, you know, certainly doesn't help. The game has refused to start him lower than 6th. Maybe that'll change, and Red Bull Ring is a track that people have difficulty passing in. So maybe Dedrick can lose a couple of points here. Who knows? And finally it's happened. Dedrick does not start in the top 5. He's starting 10th and behind the rest of the Porsche drivers. And probably most importantly, starting behind Isabella. However, this is definitely a top speed course. So my anticipation would be either Thrasher or James winning this one. All-wheel drive launch can't take you anywhere if there's a vehicle right in your way. The game's granted us a nice sunny afternoon to race in here. Far cry from the constant foggy conditions or early morning races that we keep having in this championship. Isabella is just about to put herself on the inside of Travis. Can that Lotus's acceleration get her ahead? It seems like it can. So far this seems to be a track for the Fords, as it's a 1-2 for them in a second if Thomas can finish this pass. He just about will. So yeah, there's a Ford 1-2... 14. Okay, well that's depressing, but Dedrick has scored 1 point, but that's still by far the least he scored all championship. Isabella's going for a move on Yoshiro. Suddenly, Ryan Wolf's in the picture, as he is chasing down, well now both Fords. He's already passed James and Yoshiro. He's passed a lot of people. He started 5th, he started 8th, and he's about to take 2nd. So that's what I mean. This is a top speed track, and to be honest, I thought it'd be Thrasher's race to win, but if you can quickly dispatch the rest of these cars around here, Ryan can go and chase him down. Isabella going to try again on Yoshiro. They somehow don't collide. Better exit for Yoshiro, better acceleration for Isabella. Gonna cut a bit of grass here, apparently. Even with the grass cutting, I think she'll still get the position by the exit of the next turn. They're still at a pretty even heat, but I think Isabella is finally pulling ahead. Ryan's got what I would estimate to be about 2 seconds to catch on Thrasher. Maybe even less than that. He's made pretty short work of that 3-second gap at the start of the lap. Probably cut it down by half at this point. Wayne is gonna attempt to overtake Travis. Meanwhile, Dedrick is out of the points, having been passed by Wayne. And he's got to pass, well, at least one Porsche if he's going to score any points at all. So now he has to actually fight off people that are in the same car as him instead of, you know, other people. But he must remain aware. Taylor is right there. Ryan is absolutely there now. The pass could be made here. And it seems pretty simple to me. Slide up in front of Thrasher, and that acceleration's gonna get him pretty clear cut away from him. Isabella's acceleration might have been enough to pass the car she's passed so far. However, I don't anticipate that it's going to help her against anybody in front of her right now. GTR's acceleration is just as good, being all-wheel drive, and then the Ford GT40's got way more top speed than her. So I think she's reached her limitation here. Eric is the next top speed car on the chopping block to try and make his way through the GT4 rides. Wayne following in close pursuit of him. Schwartz still out of points, and Cam still basically out of contention in this little touring car. And now Ryan is just gonna make good his escape, and this should be pretty self-explanatory for him. Not much worth focusing at the front three here, really. The front two, rather. Third is close between him and James. Isabella not out of the frame, but not really in the picture either. She's still relevant, and can take advantage if James somehow catches and starts battling Thomas, but Isabella's car does not have it to fight them off on its own. You can look at the lap time comparisons. Everyone else is running 42s, but Ryan just pulled in a low 39 as his best lap. Wayne's running 41s, but everybody else on the track is a 42 or 43. Wayne's made contact with somebody along the way, I don't know who. No. Eric tried to pass Yoshiro, he backed out, and that allowed Wayne to try and pass him instead. Meanwhile, a bit further back, Dedrick is under pressure from Taylor. Yeah, when you don't start at the front, Dedrick, it seems to be very hard for you to stay ahead, huh? That outside corner exit, combined with having the inside, means he might have the position still. Nope, he just backed out. He just had nothing for that weird right-hander that you don't really think about much. Wayne failed to overtake Eric. Now he's under some threat from Travis. But Travis just went wide, so now he'll be under threat from Stephanie. But now Stephanie went wide, and now she will be overtaken by Dedrick, possibly, into the next turn. Depends on how crazy Stephanie gets on the brakes here. Just enough room is left. Maybe not so much that time, but Stephanie braves the outside. Here Taylor comes again. She looks to take it back from him. The place she should have had before is now hers. Now Taylor will use that acceleration and the momentum to try a pass on Stephanie for points. Well, a point. The acceleration of the Lotus is coming in mighty handy at the Red Bull Ring, and she might get another one just here. You know, even behind that, Carly just tried to pass Dedrick. Dedrick just almost spun there. So she may have that pass. He has really suffered in this race. Top 6, I think, are pretty much settled at this point. Now with Eric ahead of Yoshiro, it's down to 7th and 8th to see what develops here. Travis is up with this group, and Taylor just needs to work on defending her singular point from Stephanie and from Carly more than anything else. I think more points would be off the table for her from where she is. I was like, are you seriously trying that lane? There's not really a lane for that there. Just a couple of good corners. Taylor has actually caught up to the big train of cars going from 7th to 10th. As Wayne's not going to try again on Yoshiro. This time he does take it. He could have one more shot at Eric, but Eric is going to take one shot at Isabella, I think. He's going to have, well, really two shots, to be honest. He takes the outside here, Isabella defending the inside, but too much top speed. Never mind, Isabella does not like that, does not want to admit too much top speed, and she sends it in and holds on to 6th, 5th place. I don't think Taylor has any answer for Travis from this distance. Outside of daredevil maneuvers, Eric has run out of opportunities to take a top 5. There are no more braking zones on this course, so at least none heavy enough to warrant trying to pass somebody in them. And Travis and Yoshiro are going to fight to the last corner over 8th place. Ryan Wolf will take a pretty simple win, and Travis is going to take it on the outside in the final corner to take himself into 8th place. Taylor's acceleration, along with Yoshiro being thrown off the line, will net her an additional position. So there you have it. It's almost like F1. You know, when the guy that's won a bunch of races in a row doesn't, you know, win, it creates a good race. With Dedrick scoring nothing, Isabella taking decent 5th place points. The gap is down now to 28. Wouldn't it be something if Dedrick threw this away? Because as much as it's bored the crap out of me to see him win so many races in a row, he's definitely driven like he deserves it. So if he did throw it away, I would still feel at least the slightest bit of sympathy for him. But we've still got plenty of races to go. I'm sure he'll start high on the grid in a couple of them from here, so on to Spa. And it seems the starting grid gods are really done with Dedrick's nonsense after that last race. They've started him in 2nd from last, and they have put Isabella 4th. I reckon the starting grid gods at this point are just this entity that exists in the series, and it's just some sort of neutral position. I don't know. But at any rate, I think I know who's going to win this race. Based on the results of the last one, I don't think any number of 4 GTs nearby can stop him. Now at the amount of straight line speed that McLaren's got. He would have needed Wayne, or we would have needed Wayne Hansen, who's back here in last, or Eric, who's right there in 10th, to contend with that top speed. Isabella gets a good launch, getting her ahead of Thrasher off the grid. I'm really surprised she didn't also send it on Thomas into turn 1. And on the back, we have Wayne driving straight into a wall. Well done. As we're kind of in the middle of the pack, it's a gridlock. We got James and Eric going too wide through Eau Rouge. That doesn't usually end well. But Eric will make the move work anyway. Cam is actually into 10th place for like the first time in a while. I don't think Eric likes that though. No, he does not. Alright. Travis going for a pass on Yoshiro. And Thrasher and Stephanie are fighting over what I believe to be 5th. As Carly is already up 2 places. And Isabella will not be removed from Thomas. Yeah, Ryan's out of here. I don't think there's anything anybody can do about that. My throat was having a problem for a moment. Yep, sorry Izzy, acceleration alone can't get you many places around this course. What? It's the second race at Spa in a row where I've been interrupted. And even with Dedrick in dead last, this race still isn't that entertaining. And we have Wayne making passes, we have them too wide up there. As Yoshiro is holding, takes ninth away, not holding on to, she already lost to somewhere else. Here comes the top speed of the Lamborghini, but neither of them can go anywhere because of these slower couple of cars fighting ahead. Wayne will have the move done though. Stephanie is going for it on Carly. She will take 4th away there. Thrasher does not look like himself right now. This is no Grand Valley, you know. Travis overtook him somewhere along the way, and now his next target is also Carly. So the other Porsche drivers are making the way through the field. Dedrick has become a bit too reliant on his starting grid blessings. And he's making some moves. He's past Taylor and Cam, but like Cam's the slowest car on the track. And Eric still have not decided their bout. Now Hikari, who I haven't said anything about so far this episode, is next past Thrasher. Thomas is going to have a very pressured race today. Now he has both Stephanie and Isabella right on his rear bumper. And he doesn't have the handling to get him off of it. Eric's also done some bumping in this race, apparently. Once again, no idea who it was, but he hit somebody and hit him real good. And this car suspension is not the biggest fan of that corner, to say the least. Here's Yukari. Not really enough stuff. Not enough nerve. Wayne has already passed Yoshiro, and now Dedrick will be the next to follow him through. I can figure that Isabella would be able to run much faster laps if she somehow got around Thomas, but that would never last because as soon as they got onto either of the big straightaways around this track, the chances of Isabella being ahead still at the end of them would be slim to almost none. Now Thomas is holding her up so badly that Stephanie is going to use him as a pick and overtake Isabella. However, I think Dedrick has hit a wall, because now the next 4 cars ahead of him have more top speed, and at Spa, that is the key component to running with fast lap times. I mean, yeah, handling can get you somewhere, but in a race situation, you need the extra power to do, well, that. And Isabella's acceleration seems to have bailed her out here. She'll get back ahead of Stephanie, but something needs to happen with Thomas, or eventually it's just going to be a roll of the dice as to who will be ahead at the start-finish line. Hikari's still right there, but cannot do anything with Thrasher yet. Even if he obviously is taking corners better, Thrasher has just enough speed and just enough braking to remain ahead. Especially when he does that. I think it's curtains for Isabella on the podium here. Car's gonna have a chance here at possibly the weirdest place to pass, or one of them anyway, on the circuit. And now for Thrasher, maintaining his position only gets harder. Now Stephanie, with slightly higher top speed, will have a crack at Thomas. If Isabella is lucky, she'll either catch her off guard the same way that Stephanie did to her a lap ago, or Stephanie makes the pass and Isabella can just follow her through. Thomas has held them up so much that now Carly and Travis, who haven't been fighting each other at all, have also gotten up there. And with the amount of power that Carly has, Isabella has yet another threat. Stephanie already moving to the side, but the road's not quite wide enough for the AI to think they have a shot at that. So they'll all just kind of back out in tandem. Now Travis and Carly are fighting, as Isabella sends it on Stephanie, but that's not going to work. Isabella just about spun out, and also just about let Travis right in. Travis took 5th from Carly just now, but not for very long. Meanwhile, back here, Thrasher is still barely holding on to 8th. Well, that was a bold decision. Stephanie's right there again, but the GT40 just has too much top speed for this Porsche to handle. And she has to wait for a more wiggly part of the track to do anything bold in this last lap. The entire country of Italy is right after Thrasher right now, and he only needs to hang on for about another minute's worth of racing, but that's still going to be difficult. Here would be Isabella's best corner on the track, but it doesn't really provide much for the way of any kind of way to pass anybody or anything. Keep waiting and hope that something crazy happens at the final chicane, because that's about Isabella's only hope to make her way back onto the podium. Or if Stephanie does that and nearly misses the next corner, that'll probably help too. Stephanie moves to the side again. Once again, there's no room for it, but they don't back off this time because there's space. As I see on the leaderboard, Ryan has taken another commanding victory thanks to the starting grid that he got. Now it's down to this final corner for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and even who comes 5th and 6th. As I see back here, Carly and Travis are fighting again. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stay single file. But Travis will make a last-minute attempt and claim that position last second. Thrasher does manage to keep hold of it, 8th place, and once again, Schwartz will take home 0 points. Isabella's cut it down to 20 points. But this isn't a track that either of those cars are going to see much success at. This, if nothing else, is just another playing ground for Ryan. And for the slightly less successful Wayne Hansen and Eric. A good result here could put Ryan 2nd in points. If he finishes the way he just did. Isabella would have to manage like a top 5 to really, or top 3 to keep up if he wins the race. And Highlands has a lot of straightaways, so I don't particularly see that to be very likely. Yes, maybe it's just a commentary on how much moisture is in the air over Scotland, but it's very foggy, once again. Seems like it always is when you reheat up this course. Well, if Ryan is to get this amazing result that I figured, he's going to have to work pretty hard for it, starting there in last. Crucially, though, Dedrick starts 12th on a track where you need a top speed rating to pass, and the Cayman has it over the other GT4 cars, doesn't have it over anything else. There's a very clear hierarchy between GT4 and every other car. And then Cam is just somewhere on the bottom of the mountain trying to dig up stone. Carly had a terrible start. Isabella will get another free position off that. Dedrick went down off the grid, backing down to 13th already. As Wayne finds himself smashing the wall, but according to the game's UI, his vehicle didn't take any damage from that somehow. I think Travis may get away with a freebie here, as we're pretty much racing on the Silent Hill racetrack here. Carly has managed to maintain third despite her start. Thrasher on a bit of a downtrend. He's already down, I think, 2 spots. Trying to make that only down 1 if he can get around Yoshiro somehow on the outside. Which you can't. Not enough aero. Oh, there comes Wayne. I thought that'd be Dedrick, but no, there's Wayne to take the points away from him. But he, with all of his horsepower, has nowhere to currently go, so he'll just have to wait. I know there's a long straightaway. I think you can actually see it on the map there, just around this next turn. And that's really going to shake just about everything up, minus the top 2, which I think are kind of too far ahead to fail right now. I get to see the raw top speed numbers of these two cars, however. The Porsche definitely has the advantage in a straight line. May crack the 170 mark. It will. 80 max for that car. Meanwhile, Isabella, 163, maybe 165. 177. I think that's its limit. 164. Here comes Carly doing 192. 188 on that thing. What I want to see is, what did Wayne manage? Oh, nothing, because he's got a traffic jam in front of him. And he's also hit quite a few things. His taillight's broken. I don't really know what he ran into that he did so much damage to his car, unless the game just failed to show me when he hit the wall into like the 3rd corner. It does do that. That's a wall. Ow. Now that couldn't have been good for the old suspension. Yoshiro almost found her own wall. People in this race are definitely going to be envying Isabella and Travis at this moment, because they have clear road, they have no pressure on them, especially Travis. But if you're in a pack of cars trying to pass, you are putting yourself on the line just to make it around a turn, if you're next to somebody along the way. It's a royal mess right now. The cars with all the top speed unable to get anywhere because they're being blocked by cars with lower top speeds being overtaken by other cars with high top speed. And then all of the vehicles with low top speed that the cars with high top speed passed get an opportunity to pass them back in these weird segments where they're all clumped together. Cam is, for the moment, still holding 7th. Despite his vehicle being the worst in a straight line in the entire category. I'd be surprised if this thing hits the 150 realm. If it's a 5th gear at 90 miles an hour, and there's a wall. And that's going to be quite an insurance bill for Wayne. And there it is again. Probably hit the same wall. He's got his adoring fans behind him. Well, apparently also alongside him in Yoshiro's case, but I don't think it's going to go too far for her. Everyone's right here. Dedric's also hit something. It is once again the great Thrasher train of 2020. As he's holding off, was holding off a big pack of cars. Wayne's finally gotten clear of him for the moment. Tags another wall, but he does finally make it work. Travis take it on the air. Well, Ryan take it on the outside, not Travis. Where did I get Travis from? No, he can't, but he's got it straight away. There's no issues out dragging the Maserati. Wayne moves aside to put Cam behind him. Cam with his terrible top speed. And some waxed suspension. Don't know how that happened. But he is merely cannon fodder for just about the entire rest of the grid at this point. Eric must have had a bad hit too somewhere. I don't really know when that happened. I feel like there's something the game's not telling me here because I can clearly see his vehicle is damaged, so I'm going to look. I can clearly see he's fighting people here. He has scratches on his car. I see. He's bounced into the wall and... oh, physics. Dedric hit the same wall. That's why his front end is so badly damaged. Oh yeah, that's some bad damage. The game still refuses to tell me what Eric's damage is. I know he has to have it. You cannot cover it up, game. Oh yeah, that's damage. Oh yeah. Now his father, Alex, was very well known for being able to drive with care and not very fast, but he was able to nurse wrecked cars around the track at a relatively high speed, considering the fact that the suspension's probably turned upside down by this point in that car. Hikari is now in third place, past Carly somewhere, I don't know. I'm too busy covering all the crashing that happened to really see when that happened. Travis with a healthy 14-second lead. Carly's taking third back. She wasn't done with that yet. Thrasher is, for now, barely in points. Even with his damage, Dedric still managed to overtake Cam in the city area. So we have three vehicles nursing massive damage. Well, moderate, but Eric with massive damage. He's 20 seconds away from everybody else, and that's only going to get worse. I think we may have to I think I may have to just kind of cut out the parts where he's just kind of doing that. And, nursing that car around at about half speed. Oh, yeah. No! Yeah, this is straight. This is just really entertaining and impressive to watch. Yeah, also like his father, he had a very high tendency to do this to his car. Now this is a ride that must be really fun to be on. Oh my god, this thing is basically a go-kart at 165 miles an hour. Isabella's been on her fair share of thrill rides in her childhood, but I don't know if any stack up to this. My god, I've seen Thrasher's GT40 in that little mirror there. Oh lord. Oh, and then seeing it hit the wall. That's a nice windshield you got there, Thrashy. I have to go back into dry to change the camera view to what I'm looking for. As he enters the city section to reach the final two corners. A pretty effortless win for Travis here at the Highlands circuit. The top part of the grid is not going to change too much, as also entering the same part of the track, Isabella is going to take a pretty distant second. The first position up for contention is whether or not Hikari can keep third away from this Ford. Looks like so. Maybe not. Carly just sent it on him. And she's gonna steal it at the very last second. The last point will go to Taylor. Can't make too far off. He's only got 2 more corners to go. His suspension damage is but it's also evenly spread at both sides of his car. So it's not a difficult thing to drive, it's just kind of sluggish. And the really good to wait for is Eric, who is several corners away from the end. Though he is approaching the city area now. He honestly didn't make terrible time around the lap for what his car is right now, which is absolutely thrashed. He only lost about 30 seconds. Which is really, like, minimal for the fact that his wheel's looking like this, in a straight line. So there you go. Eric deserved something for driving that thing around for 2.5 laps with that amount of damage, but no points for last place, no matter how battered your car is. So we move on to the points, and things are going to look a little more close. It's only 8 points. Cedric has had an absolutely terrible episode so far, whereas Isabella and Ryan have made massive gains. Ryan not so much in the last race, but he did manage, I think, 8th. But Isabella's record, I think, was like 5th, 3rd, 2nd, or 5th, 4th, 2nd. So she's making an almost unthinkable comeback. And as I mentioned, Ryan is 14 points off her, but I don't really think there are going to be any other contestants going for this championship at the final race. I think it's going to be between Schwartz, Isabella, and Ryan for the championship, because Wayne, Stephanie, and the rest of the group are pretty far off. But on to Vallelunga, a track which I honestly don't have too many expectations for. For Vallelunga, and oh my god, The game just keeps making it worse for him. Now he's starting second from last. Isabella's not starting great. She's starting ninth. What's with the GT40s here? What? And, yeah. Not much else to it. I don't know why I'm in that camera view. I have... Ah! Not much really happened off the grid. Doesn't really seem like many people have gone up or down. That's the grass, Ryan. Oh my good lord. Suddenly, Eric. Look towards the front, and Wayne is quickly making his way through the Fords. He's past two. Next, he has to cut through Thrasher, and then it's him versus James for the lead. Isabella's faltered fast. Apparently, she got thrown off a bit by Eric, and that allowed Travis to get right through him. But she needs to not let Dedrick do the same thing. Which right now, she's not succeeding in that regard either. Eric is now trying to defend his points position of 10th from Dedrick. Dedrick takes the outside and gets ahead. Eric freaks the heck out. And now he goes to chase back down that Porsche. Wayne's now there. Well, I think he's been with Thrasher the whole time. I don't think this is anything different. There's hair in my face. He's being bizarrely patient. For being, you know, Wayne, who usually isn't. Now Eric is back ahead of Isabella, and apparently that one initial move just threw her entire race off. I don't know what Eric just somehow did that just kind of dazed and confused her. Not even Cam is trying to pass her. Now she's the one that looks off pace. Eric will take 10th away from Dedrick. Oh my nose, oh god. It just seems like a pass is never done here because the track keeps going left and right, and then back to the left, and then back to the right, and then suddenly Cam. Oh, now Thrasher just put Wayne off track in defending his second place from him. Stephanie's joined the party. My nose is still itchy. And Isabella is not going to be losing to this car in terms of... Not with that power figure, it isn't. Dedrick is the fastest car on track. But I think that comes down to the fact that everybody else was in a big group where he wasn't. These two are stuck behind Thomas. Taylor is stuck behind Carly, and then these three are locked in battle. You can start to see the desperation begin to build in her driving style. based on that corner entry. Although, Isabella needs to keep in mind, with where Dedrick is right now, Dedrick is still fighting for like 10th or 9th. This isn't game over for her if he gets this position. It's if he were like 2nd or 3rd or winning the race, that's when she needs to be concerned being here in 12th. And it just kind of doesn't really mean a ton. It is in Isabella's best interest, obviously, if she, you know, gets into points, or if failing that, hope Dedrick doesn't score too many more of his own, but we're just kind of stuck in this constant loop of just passing each other and then undoing it. It's like the universe reset button keeps being pressed, and everything that happens then, well, stops happening, as Wayne, somewhere along the way, passed Thrasher, and now he's right on that Nissan. Unshockingly, Wayne's the fastest car on the track. Ryan is really having some problems dealing with these two in front of him. All the horsepower in the world, and he still couldn't figure out a way to get alongside Taylor, it seems like. In saying that, here he goes. He'll do precisely what I said he has not been able to do. And then also almost run into her, but that's beside the point. He's about to get last. No, because Hikari is terrible. Wayne's taken the lead. And he needs to hold on for another lap, which, considering how quickly he went through the field, I don't think he's going to have many problems with that. Ryan claimed 8th. From Taylor, and then Dedrick followed through. So, suddenly Travis, okay. I was gonna say Dedrick is letting Ryan do his dirty work for him, but I had a freaking stroke while trying to pronounce a basic sentence. It's the final lap, and you can see just how much faster his lap was now that he's no longer impeded by other cars. And I'm going to go too wide through the corner you take at pretty high speed, so this is going to be sketchy. Dedrick might keep the place though because he's on the inside. Not if he curb hops like that, though. That ain't gonna Lotus's period, because even Taylor has suffered pretty badly in this race. She's down 4. Isabella's down also 4, I'm pretty sure. Maybe only down 3 if she can manage to keep herself ahead of Cam, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter at this point because she's not gonna score from here anyway. Dedrick also desperately searching for any chance he can get to make a move. That's putting him on the outside, which means, well, if Taylor were aggressive, she would have sent it on him, but she decided against that. Stephanie's gonna try and pass Thrasher. That was her literal last chance to do so, and she takes it quite boldly. Taylor is gonna take her last chance and pass Dedrick at the last second. And Dedrick will be relegated to a single point unless he pulls off something crazy here, which he looks like he just will. I'm not sure how Taylor didn't get away with that, but only 2 points for Dedrick. Given the circumstances of just what he had been doing in the first 8 races of this championship, he only went up 2 points in this entire episode. So that's the game doing a pretty hefty amount of damage control if I ever saw it. Wayne takes a pretty, not effortless win, but he takes a pretty, like, you know, it sends a message. He passed 4 cars and won by that much. I believe it is now a 10-point gap between Isabella and Dedrick, indeed. And then another 10 points between Ryan and Isabella, and 8 points between Ryan and Wayne. And then 8 points between Wayne and Stephanie, and then 8 points between Stephanie and Thomas. Everyone's pretty evenly spread out, but one good result from any driver moves them up at least one place. And in the next episode, the final part of D-Tier, we will finally see who wins this championship. It's been very up and down. The first half was kind of meh, but once Dedrick started suffering a bit, Starting Grid started exposing his weakness, it got a bit interesting again. So we'd have Zandvoort in the Netherlands, 2 different variations of Monza, and then end at Laguna Seca, just like we did in A-Tier.